الله أكبر الله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have a few quick announcements before we begin, inshallah. We do have some dua requests for a few individuals. Please pray for brother Ali Dolat Abadi. He was told that he only has 1 month to live. He is currently attending the Jum'ah prayer. So may Allah make it easy for him and his family. Ameen. Also, brother Ghiyas Khan had a cancer surgery on Wednesday. The surgery was successful, so let us please make dua for his recovery. Hopefully Allah makes it smooth and grants patience to him and his family. Also, just as a quick reminder, on Monday between Maghrib and Isha, we will have Sheikh Mishari Rashid Al-Afasi, who will be here to recite some Quran and some anashid as well. And I think that's pretty much it. On behalf of ICIE, we wish you all an Eid Mubarak. Today's Khatib is Usher Shah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يضلل فلا مضل له من يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمد عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. وبعد. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله، الله أكبر، الله أكبر، ولله الحمد. My dear brothers and sisters, today is a day of great joy, of great emotion that we take to the world. And we must remember in this time that this is a blessing. To be filled with joy in your heart. To be able to take it to the next level where others do not have that same joy. And there's a reason I'm talking about this, is because there's many people out in the world who do not have this joy in their hearts, and we're here to take it to them on this blessed day, this day of celebration. The topic of this khutbah is empathy. Being able to feel what is happening in the lives of others as if it's happening in your own life. This feeling of importance was instilled into the nature of the son of Adam. To feel pain, to feel joy, to feel sadness. Right? And there is a common misconception that is going around in the different masjids, that somehow sadness and grief is a sign of low iman. Just to move this out of the way, this has no religious backing. In fact, there was an entire year that was attributed to grief and sadness because of the death of Khadija and the grandfather of Rasulullah ﷺ, so they called this the year of darkness, the year of sadness. According to the same logic, people would say the Rasulullah ﷺ was low in iman for this entire year, which makes no sense. This is Rasulullah ﷺ. The son of Adam is meant to feel sadness and grief and to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we did not, we wouldn't be human, we'd be robots. So this is important that we understand this is natural for us to feel sad and for us to feel down. In fact, this gives others an opportunity to lift them up and gain the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the importance of counseling in the Islamic tradition. Just to set the tone, in America right now, the National Institute of Mental Health calculated there's almost 15 million people adults who suffer from major depressive disorders. This is really setting the tone for us in the Muslim community to be able to take what we have to those in society and uplift them. Right? You're talking about things like drug abuse, sexual reliance, consumerism, lack of divine inspiration and connection. People feel they don't even have a direction in life. And we here have a complete way of life that we've been given, many of us since birth. Some of us from the dawah. But unanimously, all of us understand the value of what we have to be able to take to those around us. Specifically, the prophetic model of what we have as far as counseling is concerned. One of the things that we understand in the seerah and the sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ was that he was always there for his companions and those around him. Multiple times we see a hadith where a companion would come to Rasulullah ﷺ and seeking advice. Very few times did we see that he would go out telling people how to live their lives. And this is something that's very important. Rasulullah ﷺ used to spend time with his companions. He used to understand them on a very deep level. And this is important for us to understand because we'll go up to people that we don't know and start giving them advice like we know them very personally, like we know everything about their lives. It's like, brother, you know, I heard you're feeling down, you should go fast, right? Like it's one like blanket statement, like that's going to fix all his problems. We have numerous hadith where it starts with a man comes to Rasulullah ﷺ and says, give me one advice. If you can give me one advice, what would it be? We've heard these, right? And then there will be a different answer depending on which companion it is. Could be control your anger. Could be lower your gaze. Right? It would be a different advice depending on who came to him. And the important part of this, number one, is that Rasulullah ﷺ knew his companions very well. He listened to them, he understood them, he spent time with them before giving them advice. Number two, he already had this advice prepared for them. Like it was immediate. He gave them advice, he already knew what advice to give to them. Meaning he could have gave them, he could have went up to them, pulled them to the side and said, hey man, I've been watching you, you know, I think this is what you should do. But he didn't give that advice until they were ready for that advice. And this is very important to understand. People felt secure with him. Now imagine, right, in a day and times where filth and gossip and backbiting is rampant, people are very secure with only like maybe their mom, their dad, maybe their brother, right? But people felt secure telling them the deepest, darkest illnesses they had in their heart. Now this speaks volumes to who he was. That what they told him was going to be secure with him, and also he was secure with who he was. He wouldn't reflect his shortcomings or his insecurities on anybody else. He was very secure with who he was and with what they were telling them. We need to be very secure in who we are, to be secure with who people are and what they're going to tell us. If somebody comes up to you telling you something that has to do with one of their shortcomings, we're not here to spread it around. There's something called confidentiality, right? We keep people's shortcomings secure. If they tell us something, we keep it between us and them. And the divine example of counseling comes to us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the form of Surah Duha. At this time, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not receive revelation for an extended period of time, and he went into depression because of this, to the point that he was seeking some type of upliftment, and it came in the form of Surah Duha, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends this as a form of encouragement. Now look at the steps that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took to counseling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. First and foremost, he swears by the forenoon. And it says, and by the night, and when it instills it, when it darkens. So now he's making sure that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is hearing him, that there is something very important that must be said, and he is swearing by these two great things. And he says, your Lord has neither forsaken you nor hated you. He's reminding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a friend to him, right? He's not forsaking him, he's not mad at him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us 70 times more than our mother, so why would he hate us? He wants us to come back to him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam off the bat, in his time of darkness. He's reminding him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there for him. And indeed the hereafter is better for you than the present, and verily your Lord will give you so that you shall be pleased. A reminder that this life is only temporary and there's something better for you. So no matter how hard what you're going through is, there's something better for us in the hereafter. That doesn't matter how grave it is. You lost your entire family. You lost all your wealth. You're in the deepest and darkest places in your health. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared something that's way better than this life in the hereafter. And he did not find you. He reminds the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they did not find you as an orphan and he gave you refuge. And he found you unaware and gave you the prophethood and guided you. And he found you poor and he gave you wealth. And he's reminding him of all these good things that are still here for him in this life. So a reminder of the hereafter and a reminder of the bounties of this life. Alhamdulillah, the sun is shining outside. Today is the day of Eid. We're in this beautiful masjid that's not being hit by tornadoes and hurricanes and calamities. We have our good brothers and sisters around us to rely on. There's so many bounties in this life that alhamdulillah we should be reminded of. And this is something we should do for anybody that we come across that might be in a low place. Remind them of the good things. Empathize with them first and then remind them of the good things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ends the surah by saying, therefore treat not the orphan with oppression and repulse not the beggar and proclaim the grace of your Lord. And this is the interesting part because it's in relation to sadaqah. The reminder to your friends to do good, discourage what is evil and proclaim the grace of your Lord. This is something that has been scientifically proven that when you give sadaqah and you help somebody else out, it uplifts you in your spirit. And there's actually clinical studies shown that when somebody does good or somebody gives something that is good, it helps them out and uplifts their spirit. So we should do the same. This is prescribed to us in the surah and in many places in the Quran and the Sunnah, to give, right? To forbid what is evil and join in what is good and to proclaim the grace of your Lord. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us of those that are steadfast on the deen, that can do good, forbid evil, and remind those of the good and glad tidings when people are down. أقول قولي هذا واستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in. Some simple reminders, and I'm keeping this khutbah very short. Many of us were here this morning, And this is just a subtle reminder of the things that we should be doing on this great day. And again, this is a day of rejoicing. This isn't a day to, concentrate on things like depression. However, the reality of the situation is we're all going through it. We've all been through it. We all know people that are going through it. However, we're not prepared to deal with it. And this is something that's very sad because it's affecting us all. Sheikh Yasser Fazaga was talking about the fact that when we have an illness like we have a cold or we have diabetes or we have some type of disease that's physically related, we're okay to share it with others for people to make dua for us. But when it comes to things like depression or bipolar disorder or suicidal thoughts, we don't want to talk about this because somehow this is related to the taboo that we're not supposed to talk about it. However, this is allowing our community to suffer silently. And there are people who are going through this, have nobody to talk to because they feel it's a taboo to talk about it. Well, I'm here to break that stigma. And there's multiple shuyukh that have spoken on this topic, that it's important that we talk about these topics so we can help each other, right? Number one, if you're here to help somebody out, your approach is very important, so please be subtle. Be open to listen when they're ready, right? And give those signs that you're ready to listen to them, You see them going through something, you feel them down, you see them dazing off or dozing off, and you tell them, it's like, brother, is everything okay? They'll probably say, yeah, alhamdulillah, everything is okay. It's like, well, I just wanted to remind you, I'm here for you if you want to talk. Just give me a call, pull me to the side, anytime, I'm here for you. And bet, they'll probably surprise you. They'll take you to the side one day and say, hey, can you still talk? Show that you're a resource for them and make sure that you listen. And listening doesn't mean you listen for like 5 seconds and then you're like, oh, brother, I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. Here's what you need to do. This isn't listening. Listening includes asking open-ended questions, meaning questions that require more than one word answer. This is very important. Ask questions that require more than a one-word answer so they can open up to you, right? It's like, well, what's going on, brother? What's on your mind? Now he has to explain. Well, tell me more about that. I want to hear, what did you mean by this? Can you explain more? Questions that allow them to open up, because maybe they've never said this to anybody and it's been eating them inside. You want to bring this out. Get this off their chest, right? Understand what's really going on, because that's the main goal of you asking questions, is to understand. It's not to solve their problem. It's just to understand, because maybe you can't solve their problem. Maybe you need to take them to somebody who's a professional in this sense, a professional counselor. But you don't know that yet because we don't have the information. So ask them open-ended questions. Don't give advice until the person has told you everything that's pertinent, right? If they just told you, it's like, I'm feeling down, brother. It's like, well, brother, this is what you need to do. No, you don't know everything. You don't know why they're sad. You don't know why they're down. You don't know what it's related to. Is it financial? Is it family? Is it health? Let's get all the information first. When you're ready to give advice, giving sweet advice is very important. Don't come down hard on a person who's already feeling down, right? Abu Hurairah said that he heard the Prophet saying, Allah does not listen to anything as he listens to the recitation of Quran by a prophet who recites it in an attractive, audible, sweet-sounding voice. And this is in Bukhari. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself prefers the sweet voice, how would we feel when we hear a sweet voice? Similarly, we like to hear somebody who speaks to us in a nice tone. Sometimes just that can make somebody feel better. Some things to remember, like I said, confidentiality, out the door, first thing. What is being said to by this person, you need to remind them that this stays between us. I'm not going to take what you say to somebody else. Nobody will hear this unless you want me to say it. Confidentiality, remind them so they know they're in a safe space. Understand that everyone makes mistakes. We're human. Do not judge. There might have been a time where we were in a low place and we did things that were haram, or to the extent of even like falling outside the bounds of Islam. But understand, we all have gone through a low place, or we may all go through a low place, or we all knew somebody who went through a low place. And some of the people, some of the scholars even that we listen to and take advice to have done things worse than any of us. So it's important that we do not judge the person that is going through a low time. They may come to you with things like, I've been abusing drugs for the past year. I've been using money from my mom's drawer that she used to pay rent. They might tell you some really dark things. But our point is not to judge. It's to understand. Why did you do that? What drove you to do that? I was in a dark place. I didn't know what to do. I was surrounded with some bad friends. It's like, well, you know, do you still hang out with those friends? Like, I'm trying to get away from them. So do you feel that would help you? You know, how would it help you to get away from these things? Like, well, maybe if I stopped hanging around these friends, it would change. Well, that sounds like a great idea, brother. How can I help? He's like, well, maybe I can hang around you more. Absolutely. Anytime. I'll introduce you to some other brothers that could help you out as well. Do you see how this works? When you don't judge, you understand. It allows a person to trust you. And that's what's needed to guide them on the straight path. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us all. Be patient. There's going to be times where you just get so frustrated with some individuals, I'm telling you, and you probably already know who those individuals are. You just get so frustrated, you're trying to help them, but it's not working. In the end, you can't blow up on them. You always need to be a resource. And you need to remind them that I'm here to help you as long as you're there to help yourself. Nobody can drag somebody to a guided path. They need to be willing. So always get that approval. Do I have your approval? Are you ready to help yourself? Because I'm here to help you if you're here to help yourself. And always follow up with them. You know, you don't know. This week, they're feeling like all good, gung-ho about changing. But next week, unless you give them a reminder, they might go back to that same path. They might fall back into depression or whatever the case may be. So it's very important that we do these follow-ups. And in that follow-ups, we're checking ourselves as well. And you know, this is not a counseling workshop. These things, they take a long time. People go through years of training to become counselors and certified therapists. This is just a reminder for us that we need to be understanding. We're with our families on this day. We're here. We're going out and eating. We're celebrating. It's Eid. It's an amazing day. I still remember times in my childhood, I would go to pray Eid prayer, and then we would eat and we'd get toys, and it would be the happiest day in the world for me. And I still revert, you know, back to those days to keep me happy. And now we're creating those memories for our young youth that are here with us today. We want to relay this happiness to those around us. We don't want to keep it in a closed circle just for us. Because who knows, that same happiness, you share it with somebody and that'll intrigue them to want to come back to the masjid. Or come to the masjid or learn about Islam. Right? These are the things that when you share, they multiply. Happiness is not a currency that is scarce. It multiplies when you share it. Such as barakah. When these blessings are shared, a smile, a compliment, a how are you doing, these things, they multiply and they're paid forward, and it can be a sadaqah jariyah for you. So we want to make sure that we relay the happiness that we have, that we share the confidence that we have in our emotional state at this point with those that might not have it. There might be people here celebrating Eid that don't even have a family to go to. There's people who converted to Islam where their whole family is not Muslim. So who do they have to share with? They have us. So we need to make sure we're connecting. We're sharing our happiness and we're not keeping it in a closed circle. This is what empathy is. Empathy is literally understanding somebody else's situation as if you are in their shoes. And that is the topic of this khutbah. We need to understand where people are at. We can't be so hardened by this society's lap and a insect came and bit Abu Bakr as-Siddiq several times to the point that he started sweating and he started crying, and the only way that he moved, because he didn't want to wake up his friend, was when the tears and the sweat dropped on the face of Rasulullah ﷺ and it woke him up. He loved him this much to the point that he didn't even want to put him out of discomfort to wake him up because he was feeling immense pain. This is the level of empathy that we need to achieve. This is the level of empathy that we need to attain in our communities, and we need to put aside this understanding of, oh, because somebody is depressed, that means that they're low in iman. Not true. This, just because somebody is going through grief means that the overall blanket statement is that their Islam needs to get better. This is not true. We need to make sure that we implement the Quran and Sunnah in our dealings at a very logical, at a very spiritual, at a very emotional level, very comprehensively. Otherwise, we're missing the true beauty of what we're learning in this deen. One of the groups that is here from this community, please move up, brothers. There's a lot of brothers outside in the foyer. Please move up so we can create some room. Jazakallah khair. There's a group right here based out of Rancho Cucamonga that actually deals with these issues. It's called Peer Counselors. Meets every other week to discuss these type of topics such as empathy and helping each other out, such as our family and our friends, right? Sometimes our mothers, our fathers, our sons, our daughters are going through something and we don't know how to help them out, right? They're going through some harsh dealings and we don't know how to approach it. This is the group to come to find out how to approach it. It's Peer Counselors. Next Saturday they'll be meeting at 10:30 a.m. There's info outside on the table and also a sign-up sheet if you want more information. Please, brothers, get some information. There's even a brochure on how to counsel your friends and family that are going through tough times and make it a joyous Eid. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us strength through these trying times. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us stronger to help those around us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He eliminate any feeling or need to want to gossip or backbite our brothers and sisters. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He makes us of those who are well guided and helps us to be the good da'i to the others. سبحانك اللهم رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
استووا واعتدلوا أثابني وأثابكم الله استووا ولا تختلفوا straight your line fill up your gap. الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى ووجدك عائلا فأغنى فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. تحيات لله السلام أيها النبي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله أكبر ولله الحمد. كل عام وأنتم بخير.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Just a quick announcement. We actually found a key for a Toyota this morning at the Eid prayer. So if anyone has lost the key to their Toyota, it's in the office. Again, if you lost your key to a Toyota, it's in the office. Also, another announcement, Brother Mahmoud's uncle Usman Siddiq passed away yesterday in Pakistan. May Allah grant him Jannat al-Firdaus and grant ease and patience to his family. Ameen. And also, please keep Zain Yusuf in your dua. He is still recovering, so may Allah grant ease and patience to him and a speedy recovery. Ameen. Eid Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.